You're listening to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast.
I'm Martin Tyler, and you're listening to Harry Symeou.
Hello and welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast brought to you by 90 Min. There it is. As ever, I'm your host, Harry Symeou, and this is a transfer update special. Breaking news today regarding Dominik Szoboszlai, a man Arsenal have been credited with an interest in for around about the last 12 months or so, I would say. He's somebody that Arsenal have been watching. He's somebody that Arsenal have been interested in bringing to the club, but it seems like that is no longer going to happen. Of course, Dominik Szoboszlai is, it appears, on his way to RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. Now, of course, his current club, Red Bull Salzburg and RB Leipzig, are connected, and move to the Bundesliga feels like the natural transition for somebody playing in the Austrian Bundesliga, as Szoboszlai is at the moment. So I'm not too surprised to have learnt this, but obviously it's a little bit of a blow because many Arsenal fans, I think, were hopeful that we would see him come to the Emirates Stadium sooner rather than later. Of course, the player has a 25 million euro release clause, which makes him a very attractive proposition, just 20 years old, somebody who's had a really positive start to the season, 4 goals and 6 assists in 10 league appearances so far. But not only that, he's also contributed in the Champions League. He scored twice in Red Bull Salzburg's 6 group games so far. So really positive player, somebody who's a huge talent, of course, got that hugely important goal for his country in their qualification tie for the European Championship. So he got that late goal that took Hungary through. So he's somebody that's kind of building a reputation for himself on the European stage. Now, we've heard Arsenal have been linked for a while, as I've already mentioned. We've heard a number of other high-profile clubs have also been linked with the player. But it seems like RB Leipzig have won the race for his signature. Those are reports coming from Sky Deutschland, so we'd assume they're pretty reliable. And as I said already, I'm not overly surprised that that's the next move for Szoboszlai. You're talking about moving from the Austrian Bundesliga to the German Bundesliga. The transition and the adaptation period will probably be a lot less. It'll probably be a lot easier for him to adapt. Obviously, the language is the same too. And that, of course, makes things a lot easier for someone when moving overseas. Isn't going to be a huge difference for him. And for someone young, I guess stability is probably key. I mean, we look at somebody like Erling Haaland, who was also at Red Bull Salzburg and was performing really, really well there, made that move to Borussia Dortmund, despite some people feeling like he could have joined a bigger club or a more powerful club than Borussia Dortmund. But obviously, it's worked out really, really well for him. So there does seem to be this natural sort of career path that these players take when coming from the Austrian Bundesliga into the German Bundesliga. Stylistically, it's very similar. Obviously, it's at a better standard than the Austrian league. But as I say, in terms of styles, in terms of the adaptation, it makes perfect sense. So a little bit frustrated that Arsenal haven't been able to get Szoboszlai in. It felt like the price was one that wasn't over the top, which is rare to say nowadays. For someone with his potential, for someone with his kind of ceiling, I guess, it felt like 25 million euro was a fair amount. But it's not going to happen. And I guess Mikel Arteta and Arsenal are going to have to look elsewhere for that bit of creative spark that the team is so clearly missing at the moment. I've said it all along. I feel like Arsenal will only do business in January if the right opportunities come along. I feel like the Szoboszlai opportunity, you know, if it did pose itself, if we were able to raise the funds, would have been a good one, and one that I personally probably would have taken. But, you know, you've got to respect the player's wishes as well. And for the player, as I've said, a move to Germany makes sense. RB Leipzig, of course, through to the Champions League knockout stages, going really, really well in the Bundesliga. although they're going better than Arsenal at the moment, he probably feels like he's going to get more opportunities there than at one of the big Premier League clubs. And I know our league position is nothing to rave about, and we can't really be turning our noses up at talented players, but you've seen other players come from abroad and it's not necessarily worked out. Nicolas Pepe's prime example, big money signing, hasn't really happened, been in and out of the side. And perhaps Szoboszlai's received some guarantees from RB Leipzig that, you can't say he would have got at the Arsenal. What's interesting about this as well, though, is that the reports are saying that Arsenal didn't try to get Szoboszlai. Arsenal didn't make a move and found themselves rebuffed by the player. Their interest in him has been no secret. It's been reported by the likes of Fabrizio Romano and various other reliable sources over the last sort of few months. But I just want to stress that part of it. Arsenal did not go in for Dominik Szoboszlai and get rejected. The player didn't say, I don't want to join Arsenal, I want to join RB Leipzig. That is not the case. That is not what happened. But he has chosen to go to RB Leipzig, and it seems like Arsenal haven't turned that reported interest into anything concrete, i.e. they haven't signalled an intention to trigger that release clause. They haven't put an offer on the table, and therefore that option wasn't really on the cards. But of course, with him looking set to join the German Bundesliga side, it looks as though Arsenal are going to miss out on Dominik Szoboszlai for now. Maybe we'll pick him up in a few years' time. But given what I've seen of the player so far, I think he's destined for really big things. And I think if we didn't get him now, if we're not going to get him now, then we're probably going to miss that boat. But yeah, just an update on that. So Dominik Szoboszlai will not be joining Arsenal next month, contrary to what lots of the ITKs around the Arsenal world have been telling us over the last few weeks. That deal is not going to happen. There is no offer on the table. There has been no progress with that whatsoever. And RB Leipzig have stolen a march. RB Leipzig have agreed everything with the player. The release clause is set to be put into motion. The contract has been agreed. It's just the case of the parties signing on the dotted line now. So Dominik Szoboszlai is on his way to RB Leipzig and not the Emirates Stadium. Right, thank you for tuning in to this brief transfer update. Make sure you smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And as this is not live, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I will check those out and I will get replying to those as well. Don't forget this show is also available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Acast, all the usual places in audio format. So check it out if you prefer to listen that way. And if you are listening via those channels, make sure you leave us a review and subscribe on wherever it is you're joining us from. Until next time, take care. Cheers.
You're listening to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast.
I'm Martin Tyler, and you're listening to Harry Symeou.